Have you ever felt like your world was crumbling, even when everything seemed perfectly fine on the surface? Like you were drowning in a storm of your own thoughts and emotions, unable to escape the chaos, no matter how hard you tried to stay afloat? Imagine this. You wake up every day carrying an invisible weight on your shoulders, exhausted, disconnected, and lost. Despite your best efforts, nothing seems to heal the ache in your heart. People smile at you, ask how you're doing, and you reply with the same answer, "I'm fine." But deep inside, you're silently pleading for peace, for relief from the pain that refuses to let go. This, my friend, is not just a story. This is a reality that many face, where the storm inside is far more violent than anything the outside world can bring. And it's in these very moments when life hurts too much that the greatest revelation occurs. What if I told you that the peace you've been desperately searching for is not out there in the distractions of the world, nor in the fleeting happiness that comes from success or material gain? What if peace, true peace, has been waiting for you all along, buried deep beneath the noise and the pain? Now, take a breath and imagine standing at the edge of the storm, feeling the wind whip against your face, the rain soaking through your soul. You feel like you can't go on, like everything is slipping away. But then, just as you're about to lose hope, a whispering thought cuts through the noise, a gentle reminder that everything you've been searching for is already inside of you. This is where your journey begins. Not in escaping the storm, but in learning how to breathe through it. Not in avoiding the pain, but in facing it with the courage to let go. It's not about fixing everything around you. It's about embracing the mess, the hurt, and the uncertainty, knowing that you are still worthy of peace despite it all. But the question is, are you ready to stop resisting, to stop running, and to finally discover the peace that's been waiting for you in the midst of the chaos? Stay with us, because this is just the beginning. The answers you've been searching for are about to unfold. If you're ready to embrace the wisdom of the Buddha and find the inner peace you've been longing for, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Buddhism in Every Moment. Your support keeps us going, allowing us to create more videos that inspire and guide you on this life-changing journey. Life, in all its unpredictable beauty, has a way of knocking us down when we least expect it. The suddenness of heartbreak, the unexpected sting of failure, the confusion that rises when nothing seems to make sense, it all creates a storm within us. Yet, no matter how deep the storm, we often search for peace outside ourselves, believing that something, someone, some distraction, will ease the pain, will give us relief. The truth, however, is that these outside solutions are fleeting. Like a patch over a gaping wound, they may provide temporary relief, but they never truly heal. The ache always returns, as persistent as it is silent. We live in a world that constantly reminds us to strive for success, to pursue happiness at all costs. It tells us that if we only work harder, look better, make more money, or find the right relationship, then everything will be okay. We are told that happiness is the goal, the destination, the ultimate achievement. And in this chase, we forget one essential truth. Life is not meant to be constantly happy. It is meant to be experienced in all its raw and beautiful contradictions, joy and sorrow, victory and defeat, love and loss. For so long, we've been conditioned to believe that happiness is the default setting, that we should live our lives with a smile on our faces and a spring in our step, no matter the circumstances. But what happens when life hits us hard? When the smile fades, when the weight of the world presses down on our shoulders, and when nothing seems to go right? The culture around us pushes us to put on a happy face, to hide the pain, to mask the fear with superficial distractions. In this constant pursuit of perfection, we forget to honor our emotions, to sit with our discomfort, and to face the inner struggle that is part of the human experience. When we ignore this inner struggle, when we try to avoid the pain or numb it with distractions, we become disconnected from ourselves. We lose touch with our true nature, the part of us that is capable of finding peace even in the midst of chaos. And that peace, that deep and lasting peace, is not found in the world around us. It is found within. But the journey to that peace requires something we often avoid: embracing our vulnerability. To truly understand life's pain, we must first allow ourselves to feel it. It's easy to run from our emotions, to bury them under layers of busy work, to seek solace in fleeting pleasures. But in doing so, we only deepen our struggle. Pain is a natural part of life, just as joy is. It is a teacher, not an enemy. It invites us to stop, to reflect, and to learn from it. And the first step toward healing is not running from the pain, but turning inward, embracing it with compassion and awareness. One of the most transformative practices for facing life's pain is mindfulness. Mindfulness is not just about meditating in a quiet room. It is about being fully present in every moment, in every sensation, every thought, and every emotion. It is about learning to sit with our discomfort, to breathe through it, and to observe it without judgment. This practice of non-judgmental awareness can help us break free from the mental loops of self-criticism, regret, and worry. It teaches us to stop resisting what is happening and to simply be with it, knowing that all things, even pain, are temporary. Mindfulness can also be practiced through journaling, a powerful tool for processing our emotions and reflecting on our experiences. Writing allows us to externalize our thoughts, to make sense of the chaos in our minds, and to gain clarity. By putting our feelings on paper, we take them out of the internal storm and into a space where we can examine them with a sense of detachment. This practice creates distance between us and our pain, allowing us to see it for what it truly is, not a reflection of who we are, but a temporary experience that we can learn from. Another way to embrace emotional vulnerability is through self-compassion exercises. Self-compassion is the act of treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer to a friend who is suffering. It is about acknowledging our pain without judgment, embracing our imperfections without criticism, and offering ourselves comfort when we need it most. In moments of suffering, we often turn against ourselves, thinking we are weak or undeserving. But self-compassion teaches us that we are human and that it is okay to not have everything figured out. It reminds us that our worth is not defined by our struggles, but by our willingness to learn and grow through them. When we stop seeking peace outside ourselves and instead turn inward, we begin to realize that we already possess the strength to overcome our struggles. We already have the tools within us to find peace, to heal, and to grow. The pain we feel may never completely disappear, but we can learn to live with it, to embrace it, and to transform it into wisdom. In this journey, we come to understand that suffering is not something to be feared or avoided. It is something to be understood, accepted, and integrated into our lives. Through mindfulness, journaling, self-compassion, and a willingness to sit with our discomfort, we begin to build resilience. We learn that true peace comes not from running away from pain, but from facing it head-on with an open heart. Only then can we begin to find the inner peace we've been searching for all along. As you continue this journey of self-discovery and healing, remember, the struggle is part of the story, but it is not the end. Peace is not a destination, it is a way of being, and it is already within you, waiting to be uncovered. In a world that promises happiness, perfection, and the ultimate success, we have been conditioned from a young age to believe that there is an ideal state of being, one where everything is flawless, where smiles are endless, and where nothing ever goes wrong. We've been sold the image of the perfect life in every magazine, movie, and advertisement. From the airbrushed models who seem to have no flaws, to the fairy tale relationships that portray ideal love, society has become obsessed with perfection. We are told that happiness is something to attain, a destination that, once reached, will solve all of our problems and make everything fall into place. But beneath this glossy, polished surface lies a deeper truth. Perfection is an illusion. The quest for happiness in modern society is built upon a foundation of unattainable ideals. We are taught to measure our worth by external standards, our appearance, our relationships, and our careers. Social media has only exacerbated this pressure. We scroll through countless pictures of friends' vacations, family gatherings, and milestones that seem more perfect than our own lives. Every filtered image is a reminder of how far we have fallen short of the ideal life. And so, we keep chasing it. We strive for a version of ourselves that we think will bring happiness. We exhaust ourselves in the pursuit of a life that doesn't even exist. But what happens when we finally get what we've been chasing? What happens when we achieve the job, the relationship, the body, the success? And yet, we still feel unfulfilled. The fleeting nature of perfection leaves us empty, always yearning for something more. It becomes a never-ending cycle, where once we reach one goal, we quickly set our sights on the next, always with the belief that happiness lies just beyond the next hurdle. And so, the chase continues, leaving us dissatisfied with what we already have. Buddhism offers a radically different perspective on happiness. It teaches that happiness is not a permanent state or something to be obtained. Happiness, like all things in life, is impermanent. It is a part of the ever-changing flow of existence. To seek happiness as the ultimate goal is to set ourselves up for disappointment, for we are chasing something that is elusive and fleeting by nature. Rather than striving for a constant state of happiness, Buddhism encourages us to accept both joy and sorrow as natural parts of life. The ebb and flow of emotions are not to be avoided or fixed, they are to be experienced fully. One of the most powerful teachings in Buddhism is the idea of embracing imperfection. In a world that demands perfection, we often forget that it is our imperfections that make us human. Perfection is a narrow, rigid construct that leaves no room for growth, for learning, for depth. But imperfection, the messy, unpolished reality of life, offers a rich tapestry of experiences that shape who we are. It is in the imperfect moments that we find the true beauty of life. Relationships are not perfect, and neither are careers or bodies or lives. When we let go of the need for perfection, we open ourselves up to something far greater, the possibility of growth, acceptance, and peace. Take relationships, for example. How often do we compare our romantic relationships to those of others, especially in the age of social media, where every couple seems to be living in a constant state of bliss? We measure the love we give and receive by external standards, by how many dates we go on, by how many times we say, "I love you," or by how many happy moments are shared in public. But love, in its truest form, is not about perfection. It is about vulnerability, acceptance, and the willingness to be imperfect together. When we embrace the imperfections in our relationships, we allow space for deeper connection, understanding, and growth. We stop expecting perfection and start appreciating the beauty in each moment, even the difficult ones. Similarly, in our personal achievements, we often set unrealistic standards for ourselves. We chase the perfect job, the ideal body, the perfect life. But when we fall short of these ideals, we feel inadequate, as if we've failed. The truth is, no achievement is perfect, nor should it be. The pursuit of perfection can paralyze us, leading us to avoid taking action for fear of failure. But when we let go of this need for perfection, we free ourselves to pursue our goals with greater authenticity and joy. We learn to appreciate the journey, not just the destination, and we find fulfillment in the process, rather than in the end result. So how do we begin to let go of this chase for perfection? First, we need to acknowledge that it's not a reflection of our worth. The quest for perfection often stems from a deep-rooted belief that we are not enough as we are, that we need to be flawless in order to be worthy of love, success, or happiness. But this belief is false. We are worthy just as we are, imperfections and all. Once we accept this, we can start shifting our focus from external validation to internal contentment. We can begin to recognize that happiness is not something we can achieve. It is something that arises naturally when we accept ourselves and our lives, exactly as they are. One of the most effective ways to begin letting go of perfection is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When we are mindful, We stop chasing after fleeting ideals and start appreciating the present moment. We allow ourselves to experience joy, sadness, frustration, or satisfaction without labeling them as good or bad. We begin to see that life, in all its imperfections, is beautiful in its own right. Through mindfulness, we can learn to embrace the full spectrum of human experience without needing to change it or escape it. Another important step in letting go of perfection is to practice self-compassion. We are often our own harshest critics, constantly measuring ourselves against impossible standards. But self-compassion invites us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a friend. It teaches us that it's okay to not have everything figured out, to not be perfect, and to make mistakes. In fact, it is through our mistakes that we grow. By practicing self-compassion, we release the pressure of perfection and allow ourselves to be fully human. In a world that constantly pushes us to be perfect, letting go of this illusion can be incredibly liberating. We stop comparing ourselves to others, stop measuring our worth by external achievements, and stop striving for an idealized version of ourselves that doesn't exist. Instead, we begin to embrace our imperfections, knowing that they are what make us real, and that in our realness lies the true beauty of life. Through mindfulness, self-compassion, and acceptance, we can free ourselves from the need for perfection and begin to experience the peace that comes from simply being. Happiness is not something to chase, but something to allow. When we stop chasing perfection, we open ourselves to a life filled with authenticity, growth, and joy. True peace comes not from achieving an ideal, but from accepting ourselves and our lives exactly as they are. And in that acceptance, we find a happiness that is deeper and more enduring than anything perfection could ever offer. We live in a world where control is often seen as the key to success. From a young age, we are taught to shape our lives, mold our futures, and design our destinies with precision. The idea of control becomes ingrained in us, forming the very foundation upon which we base our decisions and actions. We control our work, our relationships, our health, and even our emotions. We believe that if we just hold the reins tightly enough, we can steer our lives in the direction we desire. But as we grow older, we begin to notice something. The more we try to control, the more uncontrollable life becomes. At first, this might seem counterintuitive. How could something as fundamental as control be a source of distress? After all, isn't control the very thing that gives us a sense of stability and security? The answer lies in the complexity of life itself. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable. It's an intricate web of relationships, events, and circumstances that we can never fully foresee or understand. The more we try to control every detail, the more we find ourselves entangled in frustration and disappointment. We control our work schedule, only to be thrown off by an unforeseen crisis. We control our health, only to be blindsided by illness. We control our relationships, only to face betrayal or separation. The myth of control suggests that if we simply try hard enough, we can make life bend to our will. But this belief sets us up for failure because life is not something we can own or manipulate. We cannot dictate the future, nor can we change the past. The only thing we can control is how we respond to life's challenges. And herein lies the most liberating truth. The more we try to control, the more we suffer. The key to true peace, true healing, is not in controlling the world around us, but in letting go, surrendering to the flow of life, accepting the unknown, and trusting that we are strong enough to navigate whatever comes our way. Letting go of control does not mean giving up or resigning ourselves to a passive existence. It does not mean that we abandon our goals or cease to take action in our lives. Instead, it is about recognizing that we cannot control every aspect of our reality. Letting go is the act of releasing the need to micromanage every detail, to force every outcome, and to live in constant fear of what might go wrong. It is about accepting that life is not always going to go as planned, and that is okay. In fact, It is often when we surrender our need to control that we create the space for healing, growth, and transformation. Buddhism teaches us the importance of acceptance, not as passivity, but as a profound act of wisdom. Acceptance is not about throwing our hands up in defeat or surrendering to hopelessness. It is about acknowledging the reality of the present moment and embracing it, without resistance or judgment. When we accept life as it is, we allow ourselves to experience it fully, without the filters of fear or expectation. We let go of the constant battle against what is happening and begin to flow with life, instead of against it. One of the most powerful examples of this concept is the story of the famous Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh, who spoke of the importance of embracing the present moment with peace and understanding. In his own life, he faced many challenges, both personal and political, and yet he always maintained that the key to peace is not in changing the external world, but in changing our relationship to it. Through mindfulness and acceptance, he showed the world that true strength lies not in rigidly holding onto control, but in surrendering to the natural flow of life. His wisdom teaches us that letting go is not weakness. It is an act of courage, an act of faith in the unknown. In the same vein, there are countless stories of individuals who have transformed their lives by letting go of the rigid plans and expectations they had once clung to. Take, for example, the story of Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple. Jobs was known for his intense drive and his meticulous attention to detail, but his journey to success was not without its failures. In the early years of Apple, he was ousted from the company he had helped create. For many, this would have been a devastating blow, but Jobs chose to let go of the need to control the situation. Instead of fighting against it, he embraced the change, trusting that life had a different path for him. His willingness to surrender his attachment to a particular outcome allowed him to create new ventures, such as NXT and Pixar, which eventually led him back to Apple, where he revolutionized the technology industry. Letting go of control does not require a complete overhaul of our lives. It begins with small, intentional steps to release the tight grip we have on every aspect of our existence. One of the first things we can do is to embrace uncertainty. Uncertainty is often seen as a threat, something to fear and avoid at all costs. But in reality, uncertainty is the fertile ground for growth. It is in the unknown that we are most open to new possibilities, new opportunities, and new ways of thinking. When we let go of the need to control every outcome, we allow ourselves to be open to life's surprises and gifts. We start to see the beauty in the unexpected, and we begin to trust that whatever comes our way will be for our highest good. Another strategy for embracing uncertainty is to practice mindfulness, particularly when faced with difficult or uncomfortable situations. Mindfulness is the practice of staying present in the moment, without judgment or attachment. When we are mindful, we stop trying to control or change what is happening around us. Instead, we focus on what is happening within us, our breath, our thoughts, our emotions. Through mindfulness, we can learn to accept even the most difficult moments as part of the natural flow of life, without resistance. In doing so, we create space for healing, for clarity, and for peace. Letting go of control also means learning to trust ourselves. We are often afraid to surrender because we believe that we are not capable of handling whatever life throws our way. We fear that if we let go, we will lose our way or fall apart. But the truth is that we are stronger than we realize. We have already faced challenges, and we have already survived. Each moment of letting go is an opportunity to build trust in ourselves and in our ability to handle life's uncertainties with grace and resilience. By letting go of control, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to force outcomes, and we open ourselves to the healing power of acceptance. Acceptance does not mean giving up on our dreams or aspirations. It means learning to flow with life, to trust the process, and to surrender to what is without fear or resistance. When we embrace this way of being, we create space for new possibilities, for healing, and for growth. In the end, letting go of control is not about passivity. It is about embracing the fullness of life. It is about trusting that we don't need to control everything in order to be okay. The world will unfold as it must, and we can choose to walk through it with open hands and an open heart, ready to receive whatever comes our way. Letting go is the key to true freedom, and through it, we unlock the door to healing and transformation. Life, as we know it, is a fleeting dance of moments, some joyful, some painful, but all of them temporary. It is in the impermanence of existence that we find the true beauty and meaning of life. This truth, as profound as it is, often eludes us. We live in a world that encourages us to chase permanence, to hold on tightly to things, to try to freeze moments in time. We are conditioned to believe that stability and constancy are the keys to happiness, yet life itself is anything but stable. It is in constant flux, flowing and changing with each passing moment. And therein lies the beauty. The very fact that everything is impermanent is what makes it precious. The Buddhist concept of impermanence, or anicca, is central to understanding the nature of life. According to Buddhism, everything in the universe is in a state of constant change. This includes our bodies, our thoughts, our emotions, and the world around us. Nothing lasts forever, not our joys nor our sorrows. At first glance, this might seem like a disheartening realization. If everything is destined to fade away, why bother investing in anything? Why form relationships? Why pursue dreams? Why seek meaning? The answer, however, lies in the very impermanence we fear. The fleeting nature of life is what gives it depth. If we knew that everything would stay the same forever, nothing would be valuable. It is the knowledge that moments pass, that feelings shift, that everything is subject to change, that makes each experience meaningful. Life is precious precisely because it is temporary. Our experiences, both the beautiful and the painful, are the building blocks of who we are. When we cling to them, we risk losing the very essence of what makes them significant, their transience. Impermanence is not just a concept, it is a lived experience. It is reflected in the cycles of nature, in the changing seasons, in the ebb and flow of the tides, in the way rivers carve paths through mountains, and in the way trees grow and shed their leaves. Nature's cycles are a constant reminder that change is not to be feared but embraced. The autumn leaves fall, not in defeat, but in preparation for the regeneration of spring. The winter cold gives way to the warmth of summer, and the rivers, though they change course, continue to flow. In the same way, we are constantly changing. Our lives are shaped by experiences, by lessons learned, by people we meet, and by the passage of time. When we accept the impermanence of life, we stop resisting change. We stop holding onto what has already passed. We begin to see that life is not about clinging to what we know, but about flowing with the currents of change. The key to peace, then, is not in trying to control or stop change, but in embracing it. Change is the only constant in life, and by accepting this, we can let go of the fear and anxiety that come with trying to hold onto the past. The notion of impermanence is not a call to abandon our attachments, but rather to understand them. It is human to form attachments to people, places, and things. These attachments bring us joy, fulfillment, and meaning. But when we hold on too tightly, we create suffering. We forget that, like everything else, our attachments are impermanent. People grow, change, and sometimes leave. Jobs end, relationships evolve, and circumstances shift. When we resist this change, we create unnecessary pain. The Buddha's teachings encourage us not to cling to anything because in doing so, we prevent ourselves from fully experiencing the present moment. Attachment leads to suffering because we create an illusion of permanence where none exists. But how do we live with impermanence? How do we embrace the changes in our lives without feeling overwhelmed or lost? The first step is to acknowledge that we are not meant to hold on to anything forever. Life is in constant motion, and so are we. By embracing this truth, we allow ourselves to move with life rather than against it. When we let go of the need to control the outcome, we make room for new possibilities and experiences. We stop trying to hold onto what is no longer serving us and make space for new beginnings. One of the most powerful symbols of impermanence in Buddhism is the lotus flower. The lotus grows in the mud, in dark and murky waters. It rises from the depths, unfurling its petals to reveal its beauty. The lotus is a perfect metaphor for our own lives. We, too, grow through the mud of our struggles, our pain, and our challenges. It is through the difficult times, the moments of hardship and uncertainty, that we find our strength and beauty. The lotus does not resist the mud. It rises from it. Similarly, we must learn to embrace our challenges and let them shape us. It is through these struggles that we find growth, wisdom, and inner peace. But embracing impermanence and letting go of attachments does not mean we stop caring about the people and things we love. It means that we stop trying to possess them. It means that we allow ourselves to enjoy them in the moment, knowing that nothing lasts forever. We begin to appreciate the fleeting nature of our experiences, and in doing so, we find joy in the present moment. We learn to live fully without the fear of loss or change. There are practical ways to begin letting go of past attachments and embracing new beginnings. First, we can practice mindfulness, which helps us stay present and let go of the past. Mindfulness teaches us to be aware of our thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment. By focusing on the present, we stop getting lost in what has already happened or what might happen in the future. We learn to appreciate the beauty of each moment without clinging to it. Another way to embrace impermanence is through the practice of gratitude. When we acknowledge the impermanence of life, we become more appreciative of what we have in the moment. Gratitude helps us shift our focus from what we've lost or what might be taken away to what we still have. It grounds us in the present and allows us to experience joy even in the midst of uncertainty. Letting go of attachment also requires self-compassion. We are often our harshest critics, especially when it comes to letting go of the past. We feel guilty for moving on, as if we are dishonoring the people or things we've lost. But in truth, letting go is an act of love, not only for others but for ourselves. It is a way of honoring the past without allowing it to control our present. It is acknowledging that we are worthy of happiness, even if it comes in a new form. Finally, embracing change means being open to new beginnings. Life constantly offers us new opportunities, new people, and new experiences, but we must be willing to step into the unknown. We must release our attachment to the way things were and be open to the possibilities that lie ahead. Change may be uncomfortable at first, but it is through change that we discover new aspects of ourselves and the world around us. Pain is one of life's most powerful teachers, yet it is also one of the most feared. When we experience emotional or physical pain, our immediate instinct is to escape it, to run from it, or to numb it in some way. Pain is uncomfortable, often overwhelming, and undeniably unsettling. But what if we've been approaching pain all wrong? What if instead of running from it, we need to face it, head on, with full awareness and presence? Avoiding pain only makes it stronger. It's a simple truth that many of us have experienced firsthand. Think about a time when you tried to push away a difficult emotion, whether it was sadness, anger, grief, or fear. The more you tried to suppress it, the more it seemed to take hold. The emotional weight only grew, and before long you found that the pain was controlling you rather than the other way around. By running from our pain, we inadvertently give it more power. It becomes something elusive, something that we can never escape. But by confronting it, by sitting with it and observing it, we can begin to understand it and transform it. The key to transforming pain lies in awareness. This is where mindfulness comes into play. Mindfulness is the practice of being present with our thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without judgment or resistance. It allows us to observe our pain, not as something to fight against, but as something to learn from. Mindfulness gives us the space to sit with our discomfort and see it for what it is. A temporary experience, a passing moment that is part of the ebb and flow of life. When we practice mindfulness in the face of pain, we stop identifying with it. Pain does not define us. It is simply something that we are experiencing in that moment. By becoming aware of it without labeling it as good or bad, we can begin to detach from the story we tell ourselves about our suffering. For instance, when we feel pain, we often immediately start thinking about why we're in pain, how unfair it is, or how much we want it to end. These thoughts intensify the pain, creating a cycle of suffering. But with mindfulness, we can break this cycle. We can observe the pain without getting lost in it, without becoming overwhelmed by it. We can sit with it, allow it to be, and in doing so, release its grip on us. Pain, in this way, becomes a teacher. It's not something to be endured passively, but something to be understood and integrated into our lives. Every painful experience, whether it's the loss of a loved one, a failure, a breakup, or the agony of physical injury, carries with it valuable lessons. Pain forces us to confront parts of ourselves that we might otherwise ignore. It exposes our vulnerabilities, our fears, and our desires. It can highlight areas in our lives where we need to grow, evolve, or let go. Rather than pushing pain away, we can ask ourselves, what is this pain trying to teach me? In moments of grief, we might learn the depth of our capacity for love. In times of failure, we may realize the resilience we have within us, the strength to rise again. Pain can lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves, allowing us to grow in ways we never imagined. Take, for example, the story of Nelson Mandela. For 27 years, Mandela was imprisoned, enduring physical and emotional pain that most could never imagine. Yet, rather than succumbing to bitterness or despair, he used his suffering as a catalyst for personal growth and social change. His pain, though excruciating, transformed him into a leader who could see beyond the suffering of the moment and work toward healing and reconciliation. Mandela's story shows us that pain, when confronted with awareness and compassion, can become a powerful tool for personal and collective growth. The practice of mindfulness can be incredibly effective in helping us navigate emotional pain. When we experience distress, our natural instinct is often to suppress it, distract ourselves, or numb it with substances or activities. But these reactions only push the pain deeper, often leading to greater suffering down the line. Mindfulness, on the other hand, encourages us to sit with our pain without judgment. It asks us to acknowledge our feelings, to be present with them, and to experience them fully. This doesn't mean that the pain will disappear instantly, but it does mean that we begin to change our relationship to it. One powerful mindfulness technique for dealing with emotional pain is focused breathing. By taking slow, deep breaths, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to calm the body and mind. This simple act of conscious breathing creates a sense of space around the pain, allowing us to detach from the intensity of our emotions and gain clarity. Breathing deeply also allows us to reconnect with our bodies, which may be tense or tight from emotional distress. By consciously relaxing our muscles and breathing deeply, we can release some of the physical manifestations of pain, making it more manageable. Another useful mindfulness practice is the body scan technique. In a body scan, we move our attention slowly through each part of the body, starting from the toes and moving up to the head. As we do this, we observe any sensations or areas of tension without judgment. This practice helps us become more aware of how our body holds onto emotional pain and allows us to release it bit by bit. When we focus on the body in this way, we stop running from the discomfort and instead embrace it, making it easier to heal. Mindfulness can also help us shift our perspective on pain. Instead of viewing it as something to escape, we can start to see it as part of the human experience. Everyone, at some point, will face pain. It is inevitable, but how we respond to it is what makes the difference. Mindfulness teaches us to approach pain with curiosity rather than fear, to explore it with compassion instead of resistance. By doing so, we gain strength and resilience. We learn that pain is not something that defines us, but something that we can transcend. Through mindfulness, we also come to realize that pain is not permanent. Like everything else in life, it will pass. we begin to understand that our suffering is not a constant, unchanging state but a temporary experience. When we truly grasp this, we are able to face pain with a sense of peace, knowing that it is not our permanent reality. We no longer need to fear pain because we know that it is simply part of the flow of life. Pain, when confronted with awareness, becomes a path to healing. It is through our willingness to sit with our discomfort, to face it without judgment, and to learn from it that we emerge stronger and wiser. Every painful experience, no matter how intense, has the potential to teach us something valuable. By embracing our pain with mindfulness and compassion, we unlock the wisdom it holds and transform it into a source of growth. In every corner of our world, there is a quiet, yet powerful struggle taking place within each of us. It is the struggle with self-worth, the nagging belief that we are somehow not enough, that we fall short in ways that matter. We compare ourselves to others, measure our achievements against an idealized standard, and constantly criticize ourselves for every imperfection we see. This internal war with self-doubt, guilt, and shame is all too common, and yet it is rarely spoken about. We are expected to put on a mask of confidence, to show the world our best selves, while silently fighting the battle of self-acceptance behind closed doors. This struggle with self-worth is not just about feeling inadequate in certain moments. It is a deeper, more pervasive feeling that often defines our sense of identity. We may find ourselves wondering, who am I to deserve love, success, or happiness? We constantly seek external validation, hoping that someone, somewhere will confirm that we are enough. But no amount of external praise can fill the void of internal discontent. This discontent, this constant quest to prove our worth, can only be alleviated when we learn to accept ourselves as we are, flaws, imperfections, and all. True peace begins not with changing who we are, but with embracing who we already are. We must accept ourselves fully, without judgment, without the need for perfection. Self-acceptance is not about resigning ourselves to mediocrity. Rather, it is about recognizing and honoring our humanity. We are not perfect, nor were we ever meant to be. We are, by our very nature, complex beings, capable of greatness, but also capable of mistakes, failures, and shortcomings. And that is okay. In fact, it is more than okay. It is essential to our growth and to the peace that we so desperately seek. Buddhism offers profound wisdom on the path of self-acceptance. At the heart of Buddhist teachings is the practice of self-compassion. The Buddha spoke of the importance of embracing our suffering with kindness, recognizing that to be human is to experience both joy and pain. We are not defined by our successes or our failures. We are defined by how we respond to the challenges life presents. Buddhism encourages us to approach ourselves with the same love and care that we would offer to a friend who is suffering. This is the essence of self-compassion, not just accepting our flaws, but extending to ourselves the grace and kindness we so easily extend to others. Self-love, then, is not about vanity or self-centeredness. It is about recognizing our inherent worth, not based on what we do or achieve, but simply because we exist. We are worthy of love, respect, and care because we are human. Self-love means treating ourselves with kindness, acknowledging our pain, and offering ourselves the comfort and support we need to heal. It means understanding that we are enough, just as we are, and that we do not need to change or prove anything to anyone. Building self-compassion is not an overnight process. It is a journey. It begins with small steps, with moments of intentional kindness toward ourselves. One powerful practice is self-compassion meditation. In this practice, we take time each day to sit with our feelings, acknowledging whatever emotions arise without judgment. We offer ourselves words of kindness and understanding, just as we would comfort a dear friend. In moments of pain or self-criticism, we repeat phrases such as, "I am enough," "I am worthy of love and care," "I accept myself as I am." This meditation helps us shift from a mindset of self-judgment to one of self-love, nurturing the belief that we are inherently valuable, regardless of our flaws or mistakes. Another practice that can nurture self-compassion is affirmations. When we wake up each day, we can look in the mirror and repeat affirmations that remind us of our worth and our inherent goodness. I am deserving of peace. I am enough. I am worthy of love and happiness. These simple phrases may seem insignificant at first, but when practiced consistently, they begin to reshape the way we see ourselves. They help us break free from the negative self-talk that often dominates our thoughts and replace it with a more loving and accepting narrative. Gratitude is also a powerful tool for building self-compassion. When we take time each day to reflect on the things we are grateful for, including our own strengths, accomplishments, and unique qualities, we begin to shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have. Gratitude helps us appreciate ourselves in the present moment without constantly striving for something more. It reminds us that we are worthy of appreciation simply for who we are. But perhaps one of the most important steps in the journey of self-acceptance is breaking free from perfectionism. Perfectionism is the belief that we must be flawless in every aspect of our lives in order to be worthy of love and success. It is a belief that we must meet impossible standards, often set by society or by our own inner critic, in order to be valuable. Perfectionism leads to constant dissatisfaction and burnout. It keeps us trapped in a cycle of striving, never allowing us to rest in the peace of who we truly are. Embracing authenticity means letting go of the need for perfection. It means being willing to show up as our true selves, without the masks or facades we often feel pressured to wear. It is about embracing our flaws and imperfections, knowing that they are what make us unique. When we allow ourselves to be authentic, we open the door to true connection with others. We no longer need to hide behind a perfected version of ourselves, and in doing so, we free ourselves from the burdens of self-judgment and comparison. The journey of self-acceptance is not easy. It requires patience, practice, and vulnerability. But it is also one of the most transformative journeys we can take. When we accept ourselves as we are, we begin to experience true peace. We stop looking outside ourselves for validation, and instead, we find the love, respect, and acceptance we have always sought within. Self-acceptance is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a life lived authentically, a life where we can embrace both our strengths and our weaknesses, and find beauty in both. As we move forward on this journey, we must remember that self-acceptance is a continuous practice. There will be days when we fall back into self-doubt or self-criticism, but that is part of the process. The key is to show ourselves compassion, to gently guide ourselves back to the truth that we are enough. We are worthy, not because of what we do, but simply because we are. And as we embrace this truth, we open ourselves to a life of true peace, love, and fulfillment. The journey to self-acceptance is not about achieving perfection, but about learning to love ourselves in our imperfect, beautiful, and human state. It is a journey of embracing who we are, as we are, and finding the peace that comes from truly knowing and accepting ourselves. Through self-compassion, gratitude, and authenticity, we can walk this path with grace and confidence, knowing that we are enough just as we are. When life feels overwhelming, when every part of our being is being pulled in different directions, when anxiety rises like a tidal wave, and when we feel like we are about to break under the weight of it all, it's easy to forget one of the most simple yet powerful tools we have at our disposal: our breath. In these moments of chaos, when everything feels out of control, the breath becomes our anchor. It is in our breath that we can find a moment of stillness, a point of calm in the midst of the storm. Breathing, something we do automatically without thinking, holds within it the power to bring us back to the present moment, to reconnect us with ourselves when the world feels like it's falling apart. When we are caught in the turbulence of life's challenges, whether it's a personal crisis, the weight of responsibilities, or the unrelenting march of time, the breath is the bridge between our inner turmoil and the peace that is always waiting for us beneath the surface. In times of distress, we can forget the most basic function of our body, the simple act of inhaling and exhaling. Yet it is in this very act that we can find refuge and renewal. The breath is the body's natural rhythm. It is the one constant we can rely on, the pulse of life itself. Our breath flows in and out, tirelessly, without interruption, reminding us that even in moments of emotional chaos, life continues. It's in this continuity that we can find a sense of stability. When we consciously return to our breath, we allow ourselves to re-enter the present moment, where we are neither consumed by the past nor lost in the future. The breath becomes the thread that ties us back to our reality, to our physical selves, and to the world around us. One of the most profound impacts of deep, conscious breathing is its ability to calm the nervous system. In times of stress, our bodies respond with a fight or flight reaction. Our heart rate increases, our muscles tense, and our mind races. This response, while useful in immediate physical danger, becomes harmful when it is triggered by the stresses of daily life. Prolonged periods of anxiety or stress lead to the chronic activation of this response, and over time, this can take a significant toll on our health. This is where deep breathing comes into play. When we take deep, intentional breaths, we signal to our bodies that we are not in immediate danger. We activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the nervous system responsible for relaxation and recovery. This shift helps lower heart rates, reduce muscle tension, and calm the mind. It provides a physical reminder to the body that it is safe, even in the midst of emotional chaos. In doing so, deep breathing helps us move from a state of heightened stress and anxiety to one of clarity and calmness. It becomes not just a practice, but a form of self-care, a tool we can use to regain control over our emotional state. The key to this transformative power of breath lies in its depth and rhythm. Shallow, rapid breathing, often a response to anxiety, only exacerbates our feelings of stress. In contrast, deep breathing slows the heart rate and encourages relaxation. By inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly, we allow the body to return to its natural state of balance. The 4-7-8 technique, for example, is a powerful breathing exercise designed to induce calmness and help alleviate stress. To practice this technique, you breathe in for a count of 4, hold the breath for 7 seconds, and then exhale for 8 seconds. This rhythmic breathing pattern helps the body release tension and reset the nervous system. It's a simple yet effective way to create a moment of peace in a chaotic world. Similarly, box breathing is another technique that can help manage stress and anxiety. In box breathing, you inhale for 4 counts, hold the breath for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and then hold again for 4 counts. This method, named for the 4-square shape it creates in the breathing cycle, is used by athletes, military personnel, and individuals facing high-pressure situations to calm the body and mind. The act of focusing on the breath and counting in such a structured manner redirects the mind from the source of anxiety, helping to bring clarity and presence to the individual. These breathing exercises are more than just techniques. They are invitations to pause, to reset, and to regain control over our emotional responses. The beauty of breathing as a tool for healing lies in its simplicity. We do not need complex methods or extraordinary skills to begin experiencing its benefits. We only need to remember to breathe, to take a moment to check in with our bodies and notice how we are breathing. When we are overwhelmed, our breath often becomes shallow and erratic, reflecting the chaos within. By consciously slowing down our breathing, we can reverse this pattern, returning our bodies and minds to a place of equilibrium. But the power of breath is not just in its ability to calm the nervous system. Breathing also offers a path to emotional healing. When we are confronted with intense pain, whether physical or emotional, it's easy to become overwhelmed. We tend to either shut down or spiral into our emotions, feeling as though we are at the mercy of our experiences. But breathing gives us a way to respond to pain with awareness, to sit with our discomfort without being consumed by it. Through deep breathing, We learn to honor our pain, to acknowledge it, and to allow it to flow through us. It is in this process that healing occurs, not in running away from pain, but in allowing ourselves to experience it with mindfulness and acceptance. There is a powerful example of this in the life of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, who wrote about his experiences in his book Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl spoke of the profound inner strength he discovered in the concentration camps, where he faced unspeakable suffering. In the face of torture and death, he found that the one thing no one could take from him was his ability to choose his attitude, his response to pain. Frankl's story is a testament to the healing power of breath and awareness. Despite the most unimaginable circumstances, he was able to create a space for inner peace by focusing on his breath and his ability to choose how he responded to the chaos around him. His experience highlights the transformative power of mindful breathing in even the most extreme of conditions. When we breathe through our emotional storms, we invite healing into our lives. We no longer see our pain as something to fight against, but as something to experience with awareness. Breathing helps us to transcend the limitations of our immediate discomfort and to return to a place of balance and peace. By breathing through the storm, we give ourselves permission to feel, to process, and to heal. The journey of learning to breathe through the storm is not one that happens overnight. It requires practice and patience. But the more we make breathing a conscious part of our daily lives, the more we realize that we can find calm in the midst of any challenge. The storm may rage outside, but within us there can be peace. And with that peace comes the strength to face whatever life throws our way. In conclusion, the breath is not just a biological function. It is a tool for healing, for calm, and for transformation. It holds the power to guide us through life's most difficult moments, to return us to our center, and to help us face pain and adversity with awareness and grace. Breathing through the storm is the path to peace. It is a simple, profound practice that anyone can adopt at any moment to reclaim control over their emotions and their lives. The next time you find yourself in the midst of chaos, remember this: take a deep breath. The storm may not disappear, but with each inhale, you bring yourself closer to the calm within. The weight of the past often feels like a heavy burden, one that we carry with us into every new day, shaping our thoughts, actions, and decisions. We hold on to people, experiences, and material possessions as if they are the anchors that define us, and in doing so, we unknowingly chain ourselves to the very sources of our suffering. Attachment, while it may seem natural, is at the core of most of our pain. We tend to cling to what we know, our relationships, our memories, our dreams, and the more tightly we hold on, the more we risk losing ourselves in the process. The idea that attachment can lead to suffering is deeply rooted in the teachings of Buddhism. In the Buddhist view, attachment is not just about holding on to material possessions, but to anything that we perceive as a source of security or comfort. This could be people, memories, desires, or even the image we have of ourselves. The Buddha taught that attachment arises from a deep-seated fear of impermanence, the fear that everything we cherish will eventually fade away. And so, we try to hold on to it to make it permanent. But in doing so, we cause ourselves suffering because nothing in life is permanent. People change, circumstances evolve, and possessions fade. The more we try to resist this natural flow of life, the more we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of pain and longing. True freedom, according to the Buddha, comes not from holding on but from letting go. The act of letting go does not mean that we forget, nor does it imply that we stop caring. It means releasing the tight grip that attachment has over us, allowing us to live with greater ease, clarity, and peace. Letting go is not an act of abandonment. It is an act of acceptance, an acceptance that nothing, no person, and no material thing can provide us with lasting happiness or security. When we let go, we are not rejecting the things or people we have loved. Instead, we are acknowledging that our attachment to them is what keeps us bound. We allow ourselves to experience them fully, without the fear of losing them or the need to control them. The path to letting go begins with understanding that attachment is not the same as love. Love, in its purest form, is free and unconditional. Attachment, on the other hand, comes from a place of fear and insecurity. We attach to people because we fear losing them. We hold on to memories because we fear forgetting. We cling to possessions because they give us a sense of stability. But true peace comes when we stop needing these things to define us. The process of letting go is not easy. It requires courage. It requires the willingness to face the unknown and to trust that we are strong enough to endure whatever life brings our way. Letting go means stepping into uncertainty, into a space where we do not know what comes next. It is about trusting that the universe will provide what we need, even if it doesn't look the way we expect. And this, in many ways, is the essence of freedom, the ability to release our hold on things and allow life to unfold naturally, without resistance. One of the most powerful ways to begin the process of letting go is through emotional release. Emotions, when left unchecked, can become trapped within us, causing us to hold on to old wounds, regrets, and fears. These emotions become like invisible chains, limiting our ability to move forward. To release them, we must first acknowledge their presence. It is only when we allow ourselves to truly feel and process our emotions that we can begin to let go of them. Visualization exercises can be an effective tool for emotional release. One simple practice involves closing your eyes and visualizing the person, experience, or memory that you are holding onto. Picture it in vivid detail, and then with each exhale, imagine letting go of the hold it has on you. Visualize it floating away, like a balloon drifting into the sky. With each breath, you release a little more of the attachment, allowing yourself to feel lighter, freer. This visualization technique helps create a physical sense of release, moving the energy of the attachment out of your body and mind. Journaling is another powerful method for letting go. Writing allows us to externalize our thoughts and emotions, helping us process them more clearly. When we write about what we are holding onto, whether it's a person, a painful experience, or a toxic belief, we give ourselves the space to reflect on why we are holding on and how it is affecting us. Once we have explored the emotions tied to the attachment, we can make a conscious decision to release them. Writing gives us a chance to reflect on what we have learned, what we are ready to let go of, and how we want to move forward. It's a way of closing a chapter and opening ourselves up to new experiences. One of the most difficult forms of attachment to release is our connection to toxic relationships or environments. We often cling to people who do not serve our highest good, staying in unhealthy relationships out of fear, guilt, or the belief that we are not worthy of something better. But remaining in these situations only causes us more pain. Letting go of toxic relationships requires the courage to face the truth of our worth. It means recognizing that we deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift and support us, not those who drain us or hold us back. It also means choosing peace over conflict, choosing freedom over the prison of emotional entanglement. Breaking free from these attachments also means learning to let go of the need for validation. In a world that constantly measures our worth based on external standards, our success, our possessions, our status, it can be difficult to let go of the need to be seen, admired, or approved of. But true peace comes when we no longer need to define ourselves by these external markers. We are enough as we are, with all our imperfections and flaws. Letting go of the need for external validation allows us to step into our authentic selves, free from the pressure to meet others' expectations. Letting go also means embracing the present moment. We often attach to the past, clinging to memories, to old stories, and to the identities we have built around them. But the past is gone, and the only moment we truly have is the present. When we release our attachment to the past, we free ourselves to fully experience life as it is, without the weight of history weighing us down. By letting go of past attachments, we open ourselves to new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences that we would otherwise miss. The courage to let go is not about forgetting the people and things we love. It is about recognizing that we are more than our attachments, more than our possessions or relationships. We are whole, complete, and worthy just as we are. Letting go is not about loss. It is about freedom. It is about releasing the grip of attachment so that we can move forward with a heart that is open and a spirit that is free. When we let go, we make space for new things to enter our lives. We create room for growth, for new experiences, for love that is not based on fear or need. Letting go allows us to live more fully, to embrace the beauty of each moment without the weight of the past holding us back. It is a radical act of trust, trust in ourselves, in others, and in life itself. The journey of letting go is not easy, but it is necessary for true peace. It is a journey of courage, of self-discovery, and of healing. When we release our attachments, we set ourselves free. And in that freedom, we find a peace that is unshakable, a peace that is not dependent on anything external, but is born from within. Letting go is not just about releasing what no longer serves us. It is about embracing the fullness of life, exactly as it is. In our relentless pursuit of peace, we often look far ahead into the future, imagining that we will find happiness once we achieve a certain goal or reach a particular point in our lives. We search for calm in places that do not exist yet, or we try to escape into memories of the past, believing that peace might have been there once. Yet, no matter how much we chase it, the truth remains the same. Peace can never be found in the future or the past. It can only be found in the present moment, the only moment that is real, the only moment that truly exists. The present moment is where life happens, where all of our experiences unfold, and yet we often miss it. We miss it because we are too focused on what's to come or what has already passed. Our minds race with thoughts of future worries, regrets, and desires, while the present slips by unnoticed. In doing so, we lose the very thing we are searching for, peace. True peace lies not in the accumulation of achievements, possessions, or experiences, but in our ability to be fully present. The key to unlocking that peace is to stop searching for it outside of ourselves, and instead look within the moment we are in. The present is all we have, and yet it is often the one thing we ignore, wishing for something else, something more. But when we choose to step into the present, to fully embrace the here and now, we discover that peace is already within us, waiting to be recognized. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing our awareness back to the present moment, moment by moment. It is a simple yet profound act of paying attention, without judgment, without distraction. When we practice mindfulness, we bring our focus to whatever we are doing, whether it is something as simple as drinking a cup of tea, taking a walk, or washing the dishes. These everyday tasks become the ground for our practice, the places where we can experience life in its fullest, most authentic form. By practicing mindfulness, we stop living on autopilot. We stop rushing through life, constantly thinking about what comes next, and we start to really experience the richness of the present. We become more aware of our thoughts, our feelings, and our sensations, allowing them to pass through us without judgment or attachment. We stop reacting to life as if it is something happening to us, and instead, we start engaging with it fully, with open hearts and minds. Consider the simple act of washing dishes. How many of us wash dishes while thinking about everything but the dishes? We may be lost in thoughts of the future, planning our day, or worrying about something that happened earlier. But when we bring our full attention to the task, we notice the feel of the water, the warmth of the soap, the motion of our hands. In that moment, we are no longer just washing dishes, we are fully engaged in an experience. By bringing our full attention to the task at hand, we transform it into something meaningful, something that connects us to the present moment. Every action, no matter how mundane, becomes an opportunity for mindfulness, for presence, for peace. This is the transformative power of presence. By simply being present with what we are doing, we turn ordinary moments into profound experiences. It's in these moments of awareness that we find joy, not in some distant goal, but in the here and now. When we are present, we allow ourselves to experience life with greater depth and richness. We stop running from the moment, and instead, we dive into it with all of our senses engaged. The practice of mindfulness is not limited to our personal experiences. It also has the power to transform our relationships. Mindful listening, for example, is a practice that can profoundly change the way we connect with others. In our fast-paced, distracted world, we often find ourselves listening to others while simultaneously thinking about our response, checking our phones, or planning what we need to do next. In these moments, we are not truly listening. We are simply waiting for our turn to speak. But mindful listening requires us to be fully present with the other person, to listen without interruption, without judgment, and without the urge to fix or change what they are saying. It means being fully engaged with the other person, understanding their words, emotions, and needs, without trying to impose our own thoughts onto the conversation. When we practice mindful listening, we allow ourselves to connect with others on a deeper level, to hear what is truly being said, and to respond with greater compassion and understanding. Mindful listening also has the power to transform our emotional responses. When we listen mindfully, we begin to recognize our own emotional reactions to others. We notice when we feel defensive, impatient, or triggered, and we can pause to examine why. Instead of reacting impulsively, we give ourselves space to respond thoughtfully and with awareness. This helps us move beyond our habitual emotional patterns and engage in conversations from a place of understanding rather than reactivity. It fosters empathy and connection, deepening our relationships with those around us. To embrace the power of presence is to embrace life itself. It is the willingness to be fully here, in this moment, with all its imperfections and challenges. It means letting go of the need to control, fix, or change everything and instead, allowing life to unfold as it is. When we are present, we release the burden of constantly striving for something different, and we find peace in what already is. The Zen approach to life is a perfect example of this. Zen Buddhism emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment, without overthinking or rushing ahead. The Zen master teaches that the path to enlightenment is not through striving or achieving, but through being present with each moment, fully experiencing life as it is. This is not a passive way of living. It is an active engagement with the world around us, without the need to change it. The practice of mindfulness and presence does not mean we stop setting goals or dreaming of a better future. It means we stop postponing our happiness, our peace, and our joy until the future comes. It means we stop waiting for the perfect moment, and instead begin to make the most of every moment, no matter how simple or mundane it may seem. By embracing the present moment, we realize that life is already perfect as it is, just as it is. As we journey through life, we often become distracted by the noise of the world, by the pressure to succeed, the fear of missing out, and the desire for more. But when we practice mindfulness, we come to see that true peace and happiness are not found in the future or in what we don't have. They are found in the present, in the simple, quiet moments of life. It is in these moments, when we stop searching and start being, that we find the joy, peace, and freedom that we've been seeking all along. By practicing mindfulness, by being present in the moment, we reclaim our lives. We stop living for some distant future and we start living for today. We let go of the past, stop chasing the future, and embrace the beauty of the now. And in that moment, we discover that we are enough, just as we are, and that peace has always been within us, waiting to be recognized. The transformative power of presence is not just about living in the moment. It is about living fully in the moment. It is about engaging with life in all its simplicity and complexity and finding peace, not in the future or the past, but right here, right now. This is the gift of mindfulness, the ability to be present, to be aware, and to find joy in the simplest of moments. Peace is often viewed as a destination, something we seek, something we strive for, a state that will arrive once we've done enough, achieved enough, or overcome enough. This belief is ingrained in us. We are conditioned to think that if we can just reach the right point in our lives, if we can just tick off the right boxes, get the job, find the love, attain the success, then peace will be ours. Yet this way of thinking leads to an endless cycle of longing, always placing peace just out of reach. The truth is that peace is not something to be obtained in the future. It is something that we must practice in the present. Peace is a practice. It is a state of being that unfolds when we stop fighting against life, when we stop resisting the natural flow of experiences, both good and bad. Peace is not a final goal but a daily choice, a choice to accept life as it is, without judgment, without expectation. This acceptance does not mean giving up or surrendering to negativity. On the contrary, it is about embracing life's challenges with openness and grace. It's about meeting each moment, whether joyful or painful, with the awareness that it is part of a greater journey. The practice of peace begins with letting go of the constant striving. We live in a world that constantly encourages us to achieve more, to become more, to be more. It is easy to fall into the trap of believing that we must constantly be moving forward, climbing higher, and reaching further. But true peace comes when we stop fighting life's challenges and start embracing them. Life is not something to be conquered. It is something to be experienced, moment by moment, with all of its complexities, contradictions, and mysteries. When we can accept life as it is, without the need to constantly change or fix it, we find peace. Living with grace is at the heart of this acceptance. Grace is not about perfection, nor is it about avoiding mistakes or hardships. Grace is the ability to face each moment with an open heart, to meet every challenge with composure and humility, and to move through life with compassion for ourselves and others. True grace comes when we accept that we are human, and that imperfection is part of the beauty of life. Grace is the art of letting go of our expectations, of allowing things to unfold as they will, and of trusting that even in the most difficult of circumstances, there is a lesson to be learned, a moment to be savored, and peace to be found. The teachings of the Buddha offer profound insight into this practice of acceptance and peace. At the core of Buddhist philosophy is the understanding that suffering is a natural part of life, but that peace can be found through acceptance. The Buddha taught that by embracing impermanence, by acknowledging that nothing lasts forever, neither the pain nor the joy, we can stop clinging to the past and fearing the future. The path to peace, according to the Buddha, is through mindful living, through being fully present in each moment and accepting life as it comes. It is in this acceptance that we find freedom. In Buddhism, the practice of mindfulness is a key tool for cultivating peace. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When we are mindful, we become aware of the present moment, rather than being lost in regret for the past or anxiety about the future. We learn to experience life fully as it is, without trying to change it or control it. Through mindfulness, we begin to see that peace is not something to chase or attain, but something that naturally arises when we are fully present with ourselves and the world around us. This practice of mindfulness helps us move through life's challenges with greater ease. Instead of reacting impulsively to situations, we learn to pause, to breathe, and to choose how we respond. When faced with difficulty, we are able to meet it with grace, understanding that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. The Buddha's teachings remind us that peace comes not from avoiding suffering, but from accepting it as part of life's journey. It is through our struggles that we often find our greatest moments of clarity, resilience, and wisdom. If you are feeling lost, overwhelmed, or disconnected from peace, know that it is possible to return to a state of inner calm. The journey of peace begins with acceptance. It starts by accepting yourself as you are in this very moment. It starts by embracing the present, letting go of past regrets and future anxieties, and fully experiencing the richness of each moment. To begin this journey, You do not need to change who you are or what you have. What you need is the courage to be present and to accept life as it unfolds. To integrate the practices of mindfulness, self-love, and acceptance into your daily life, start by setting small intentions. Begin with a simple mindfulness practice. Take 5 minutes each day to breathe deeply and bring your awareness to the present moment. Notice how your body feels, what emotions are present, and what thoughts arise. You do not need to judge or change them. Just notice them, accept them, and let them pass. With time, these moments of mindfulness will begin to accumulate, and you will find yourself more centered, more grounded, and more at peace. Self-love is another essential component of this journey. To embrace peace, you must first love yourself, flaws and all. Take time each day to practice self-compassion. When you make mistakes or face challenges, treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend. Remind yourself that you are enough, just as you are. The journey of peace requires patience and gentleness, and the best way to cultivate this is by loving and accepting yourself every step of the way. Lastly, the practice of acceptance is about choosing peace over conflict. Life is filled with ups and downs, and we cannot control everything, but we can control how we respond. When faced with difficulty, choose to respond with grace. Choose to embrace life as it is with all of its imperfections. Know that you do not need to change everything to find peace. Sometimes peace comes simply by accepting things as they are. As you begin this journey of acceptance, remember that peace is not a distant goal but a present practice. It is not something to be achieved but something to be lived, moment by moment. Each breath, each step, each decision to let go of control brings you closer to the peace that resides within you. You do not need to strive for peace. You need only to be present, to accept, and to embrace the beauty of life exactly as it is. This is the sacred journey of peace, the path to freedom through acceptance. Embrace it, and you will find that peace is not somewhere to go, but something to be. It is already within you, waiting for you to notice. Life is a journey filled with challenges, contradictions, and moments of profound beauty. Along this path, we inevitably face pain, loss, and uncertainty, elements of existence that we cannot avoid, no matter how much we may wish to. But the real question is not how we can escape these trials or find a way to avoid suffering. The real question is how we choose to respond to them. How do we navigate the inevitable storms of life? And what can we learn from the difficult moments that shape us? In this journey toward peace, we have discovered that the key to lasting serenity does not lie in external achievements or fleeting successes, but in the ability to embrace our true nature. Throughout this journey, we've explored the power of presence, the acceptance of impermanence, the courage to let go, and the importance of mindfulness. Each of these elements plays a vital role in cultivating peace, and it is only through a holistic understanding of these principles that we can truly begin to experience the inner calm that we long for. At the heart of this path is the concept of letting go. It is easy to get caught in the trap of attachment, whether to material possessions, relationships, or even our own expectations of ourselves. But attachment, as we have seen, is the root of suffering. The more we cling to the past, the more we resist change, the more we struggle to control outcomes, the more we invite frustration and pain into our lives. True freedom comes when we release the tight grip we have on life and allow ourselves to experience it as it unfolds, without trying to impose our own will upon it. The practice of mindfulness has proven to be an invaluable tool in this process. Mindfulness teaches us to be fully present in each moment, to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, and to embrace the impermanence of life. It allows us to break free from the cycle of constant striving and worrying, and to simply be with what is. By focusing on the present, we stop the endless chase for something better in the future or a return to something we've lost in the past. In each breath, in each small action, we find peace in the present moment, knowing that it is all we truly have. Buddhism's teachings have provided a framework for understanding these concepts on a deeper level. The Buddha's wisdom emphasizes the importance of acceptance, not as a passive resignation, but as an active choice to embrace the flow of life. Acceptance is not about giving up on our dreams or aspirations, but about understanding that life is inherently uncertain and ever-changing. By accepting this truth, we free ourselves from the need to control everything and open ourselves to the infinite possibilities that life offers. The power of breathing, too, has been a central theme in our exploration of peace. When life becomes overwhelming, when stress and anxiety grip us, the breath serves as a reminder of our inherent ability to return to calm. Through deep, conscious breathing, we activate our body's natural relaxation response, releasing tension and anxiety. In moments of emotional turbulence, the breath becomes our anchor, grounding us in the present and providing us with the clarity and strength we need to face the storm. The practice of mindful breathing is not just a technique, it is a way of life. It allows us to step back from the noise and chaos, reconnect with ourselves, and regain control over our emotions. Equally important in this journey of self-discovery and peace is the recognition of our humanity. We are not perfect, and that is what makes us beautiful. The flaws and imperfections that we often try to hide are the very things that make us who we are. In the quest for perfection, we often forget to honor our true selves, but it is through self-compassion and self-acceptance that we can heal and grow. By loving ourselves, flaws and all, we free ourselves from the constant need for external validation and open ourselves to the peace that comes from within. Through all of this, the ultimate lesson we have learned is that peace is not something to be achieved, but something to be cultivated. It is not a final destination, but a continuous practice. It is the result of our ability to accept life as it is, to release our attachments, to be present in the moment, and to embrace the full spectrum of our human experience. Peace comes when we stop fighting life and start living it with grace, mindfulness, and an open heart. The deep lesson and how to apply it in our lives. The deep lesson that emerges from this journey is this: we are the architects of our own peace. It is not something that is given to us, nor is it something that we find in a distant future. Peace is a choice, a practice that we can cultivate every single day, but it requires that we stop chasing perfection, let go of our attachments, and embrace the present moment with an open heart. It requires that we become aware of our thoughts, our emotions, and our reactions, and learn to respond with mindfulness and compassion. How can we apply this wisdom to our daily lives? Here are a few practical steps that can help integrate the lessons of this journey into your life, leading to a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. Practice mindfulness in everyday activities. Start by bringing your full attention to whatever task you are doing. Whether it's washing the dishes, walking outside, or simply drinking a cup of tea, make an effort to fully engage with the experience. Pay attention to the details, how the water feels on your hands, the sound of your footsteps, the taste of your drink. By focusing on the present moment, you bring a sense of peace and presence to even the most mundane tasks. Let go of past attachments. If there are people, experiences, or possessions that you are holding onto out of fear or nostalgia, it's time to release them. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or abandoning the past. It means freeing yourself from the hold that these attachments have on your present. Allow yourself to embrace new experiences without being weighed down by old memories. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Recognize that you are worthy of love and peace, just as you are. When you make mistakes or face challenges, offer yourself the same compassion that you would offer to a friend. This practice will help you cultivate a deeper sense of self-acceptance and allow you to move through life with greater ease. Breathe deeply and often. When you feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, take a moment to focus on your breath. Practice deep breathing techniques like the 4-7-8 method or box breathing. These simple practices can help calm your nervous system and bring you back to the present moment. Embrace uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and the more we try to control it, the more we suffer. Instead of resisting change, practice accepting it. Trust that life will unfold as it is meant to, and that every experience, whether joyful or painful, has something to teach you. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on these practices? How do you personally integrate mindfulness and acceptance into your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below so that we can learn from each other and continue this journey together. If you found this content helpful and inspiring, please consider subscribing to our channel, Buddhism in Every Moment. Your support helps us continue to create meaningful content that can guide and inspire others on their own journeys toward peace and fulfillment. Thank you for being part of this community, and we look forward to sharing more wisdom with you in the future.